Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will try to fire up the Intimidator diesel. This is the truck series, Intimidator 2500. Something similar is made by Bad Dog Mowers and also aka Intimidator out of Arkansas. I think they're in Batesville, Arkansas, and they make something similar for, oh yeah, Bad Boy in Batesville, Arkansas. They make something similar for Mahindra, and it's called the Mahindra Impact and Retriever. And now they also make the same thing, which they sell under the Intimidator brand, but they changed the name. It's called the Game Changer 1K, GC1K. A mouthful, but it is what it is. So typically it would come without a cab. This cab is from hard cabs, and it comes with a glass windshield that's tiltable. You can see right here it has these two struts, one here and one on the other side, and it has the optional wiper and windshield washer function. The cab makes the UTV so much more usable, especially in colder weather. Back here you have a plexiglass, but it allows a lot of light to get into the UTV. We also have a heater which is installed, and that helps in colder weather, because what happens is, as you drive in colder weather, let me jump on the other side so you can see. But as you drive in colder weather, there's cold air that goes in through here. As you can see, it's not insulated, but the UTV keeps its color very well. You can see after so many years, I had it in my garage though for a while, but you can see how the paint gets oxidized, and the part that's not exposed to the sun stays very green. It maintains its color, but the whole plastic is dyed in the color that you want, and in this case it's military green. So like I was saying, you can see right here there's the cold air that comes in, also where you have the shifter. And believe me, out here in my neck of the woods, that cold air will get your attention. With this cap, you can see here it's kind of insulated. It's not specifically a very thick sound deadening material, but it works for that purpose. It eliminates some of the rattles and vibrations you could hear. The other thing I like about these doors is, let's say you are on a farm, you're stopping to drop off your passenger, you can see all the way down. If you look at big rigs, big trucks, you will notice that they have that kind of arrangement where when you park, you can actually see if there's a vehicle next to you before you jump off. Here you can see if there's a snake outside before you jump off. Being that we are in a very cold area, it gets cold in winter, we have this additional plug-in installed to keep the coolant warm. So I had some extensive work done. This plate is one of the bash plates that goes underneath. The work is not actually, sorry, pardon me the sound, it's not actually completed, but you have this diamond plate here with the 4 screws that hold it in place. It's taken off for good, because it just makes access more difficult. But there is the engine. It's a Kohler diesel engine, 3 cylinders. Access to the engine is one of the issues I have with this UTV, and then things like the transmission belt, it's housed in that big plastic device over there, whatever you can call it, enclosure. And the access is quite tedious because you have to take off the bed does not tilt, so but it's kind of lightweight, it's aluminum. The battery also I had to change to a larger capacity marine battery. The stock unit is very little, and it doesn't really if you crank it so many times, it just dies on you. One thing I like about this bed, let me show you guys, is that you can open it out and have it totally flat, like a flat bed. Let's say you have pallets of wood or some other, you know, whatever you have that's like on a pallet. It makes it very easy when you drop all the sides of the bed. Reminds me of the Australian type of pickup bed where you can drop all the sides and carry a more substantial load so long as it's flat. So that's one of the features I really like about the Intimidator. Also, this diamond plate right here, it's quite substantial. So when you put in, let's say, some heavy objects with sharp edges, it's not gonna dent it very easily. Right, let's get this up. As you can see, some of my decals are peeling off, but here it says 2500 series, and it's the truck series. They also make a 6-seater where instead of having this bed all the way back, you have a second row seating, and then you also have ingress, egress on the second row, different from the first. So all in all, it's a nice little unit. For what it is, it has a heat receiver right here, 4-wheel drive on demand, disc brakes front and back. Don't know if you guys can see back here, but it's got disc brakes here in the back. Issues that we've had with these include the lower ball joints have failed, so that had to be replaced, I think twice or a couple of times, 3 times, not very sure. Otherwise, the components themselves are very beefy, and the one complaint you mostly hear from people is that they can't find aftermarket parts. So let's say it's 2 p.m. on a Sunday and your ball joint breaks, it's very difficult to find an equivalent part that you can run to your local auto parts store and get it. Whereas for most other UTVs, common parts like that, they've had enough market penetration where people have cross-reference parts and they can get equivalent parts. Here you have your adjustments for your shocks. You can modify the shocks, and also if you look up there carefully, you have different positions where you can actually alter the height of your ride height. The same here in the back. And they also have lift kits for these, and also there's been at least one manufacturer who has made a portal. So back here you can, if you look carefully, you can see you can also modify the height just by yourself using simple tools at home. The rims are 14 inches. Right, let's get this started. So you get in, it's the same procedure. That's what was on the shift lever, but it fell off, so I have it off. So you have park, reverse, neutral, low and high, and you also have everything shown on the screen, what gear you've selected, even though the screen has all this fancy display, you know, animations that kind of make things a bit laggy. I would have preferred if you have it's quite small, but I would have preferred if you had like something that would show exactly where you are, the status of your shift, instead of having, you know, the fancy display. But right now I think they have an updated information system that sits somewhere there and gives way more information than this one. Getting into the cab and leaving, it's quite easy. As you can see, the distance from the ground to get in here is not very high, and then also the sitting arrangement is very comfortable. It's just like you're sitting in a chair at home. Okay, to start this diesel, they say you turn the key to the on position, wait 3 seconds, then crank it. So it's on. I can hear a relay. I can hear something like a pump in the back. I would assume that's the glow plugs, and then the gauge, that dial, it does that sweep and back, reminds you to fasten your seat belt. And there we go. So with that difficulty, I would assume my glow plugs are not working. I checked earlier, but the fuse is still in place, but there might be a breakage somewhere there in the system. If you guys know of an easier way of diagnosing it, of knowing if the glow plugs are working, please do let me know. I'd be interested. Okay, now it's kind of tricky to get it to reverse without killing the battery, without killing the engine. There we go. Backing up. This unit doesn't have a power steering, but the newer ones have the option of a power steering, and it's not too expensive. I think it's like $1,200 or so. Yeah, I don't want to force it too much. I'll just turn it off, go to neutral. I don't know why it's so hard, but I don't want to fight the shift mechanism too much. It might need some sort of lubrication. So when it does that, I go to neutral. If you see, the software is still taking time, so I don't know if I'm in neutral yet. I have to wait for the animation to go off, and it tells me I'm in neutral, so I can start and shift to gear. Okay, I'm in high. Let's go. It starts out sluggish. I think the engine might need a tune-up of some sort. It's like really buggy, like it doesn't want to move. But then after a few minutes, it starts picking up. It's kind of loud in the cab, but not obnoxiously loud to the point where you can't have a conversation. So it will move, but you just have to remember that for being a 3-cylinder diesel, it won't move as fast as maybe a gas-powered version. This is more of a workhorse where you carry your stuff, move around, feed the cows with bales of hay. You know, just let the engine run and all day long at a slow idle. That's what I would imagine would be the perfect scenario for the use of this Intimidator. But it's not a Razor or what else, a Polaris or a Honda Talon. None of those. It's just a good old workhorse. And Bad Dog Mowers from Batesville, Arkansas, they're known for making some pretty good and sturdy lawn mowers. Their reputation is very much intact. So they make very beefy components, but like I pointed out to you, there's that ball joint which I know for a fact it's a weak link. Everything else pretty much seems to be good with the Intimidator. And over the years, they've just gotten better and better. So, yeah. Woo! Yeah, it's just getting smoother as the engine warms up. I saw a few rust spots on my brake discs, so I was just trying to get the the rust spots off. All right, that should be it for the Intimidator, and thanks for joining me on this journey. It's not going back into park, so turn it off and shift into park. The park brake, when you get into the park, it blocks the transmission, so the vehicle doesn't run. It doesn't have an independent park. But I believe the newer versions actually have a park, like a lever or something that you pull to have it in park. Which is why it's not advised to drive these or to park them on a slope with a heavy load. So something to bear in mind when you get your Intimidator or your Game Changer 1K. All right, thanks for joining me, and see you guys on the next video. Bye.